I'm recording my homily for Tuesday. Today's March 17th, which means today is the feast day of St. Patrick. And if you know his story, a lot of people don't really know his story. We know some of the cultural things that go along with that in terms of green beer and senseless pinching and all that kind of stuff, but don't really know his story or why we celebrate him. It ties in really well with the gospel today, which just, you could say coincidentally, has this gospel today. So the gospel is, how many times must I forgive my brother, when he sins against me? And Peter says, should I forget him 7 times? Or 77 times? Or 7 times? How many times do I need to forgive my brother? And so Jesus uses the example that mercy must be continuous. It must be ongoing. It's a great thing. It's a great example of St. Patrick's life. So when he was a young man, he was actually British, by the way. But when he was a young man, he was kidnapped and taken to Ireland to be a slave. And as the story goes, while he's in Ireland, he has this pretty incredible conversion. So when he was a young man, he took life for granted. Life was easy, he just did his thing and didn't really need God. But then once he was kidnapped, as we say, shanghaied, when he was taken into captivity and basically turned into a slave in Ireland, that's where he encountered God. Now, he eventually escapes and goes back to his home, and it's there that he discerns, in talking with one of the local clergy and the bishop, that he feels God's calling him to be a priest. And in the midst of that, he hears this voice saying to him that he needs to go back to Ireland. He needs to go back there as a priest. And you can imagine just the quantity of forgiveness, the quality of forgiveness that he would have needed to not just go back there, but to go back there and love them after what they had done to him, right? And it also exemplifies how God can take something really bad. I mean, we would all say kidnapping kids is bad, but then to take that and turn that into something positive, which results in the mass conversion of an entire nation to Christianity. That's redemption. That's victory for Jesus Christ. And that's mercy. That's forgiveness. All right? So in the midst of things, I don't know if you're like me, but I find myself getting, every once in a while, just getting really irritated. Maybe it's something somebody does in response to the coronavirus, people trying to make a profit off of it, or people just proving that they're actually very poor leaders in terms of dealing with this crisis. Not to say that I'm a great leader, but it's just my frustrations if I look down on other people. And then taking that and saying, okay, where is Jesus' victory in all of this? Well, it's going to be in something deeper. It's not going to just be in conquering an invisible virus, invisible because it's so small, right? Conquering this little virus, but in the means of how we do it and what comes from this. This is changing our culture in some ways. It's changing the world and how we respond to each other. And it can do that, I suppose, in negative ways and also in some positive ways, in us embracing and living our faith in the midst of the challenges, right? All right. God bless you. I hope you're doing well and you're in my prayers.